Hello, this is Kevin Burke, and this is a short video on how you can use a MIDI file of an accompaniment part for a solo you're working on, import it into Logic, change its key, and perhaps change its sound sample, and then bounce it to an MP3 so you can put it on your iPod or other player to practice along with. The first thing you'll do is open up Logic Pro, and if for some reason you do not have it in your dock below, open up the Launchpad and you'll find it as one of the applications in the menu, and you can simply drag it into the dock and it'll be there waiting for you next time you log on. When you open up Logic Pro, you'll want to select an empty project. You'll want to include a software instrument. Now you might be wondering why not external MIDI if you're using a MIDI file, but what we're using is just the file. We're not using a MIDI device such as a keyboard to enter into Logic Pro, so you want to select software instrument. Now it'll automatically create an instrument with the classic electric piano sound, but you can easily take your MIDI file and drag it right into the timeline here, and the MIDI content will populate. And usually MIDI files will often have an independent track just for information for labeling purposes, such as the author of the MIDI track or perhaps its title, and so you may not necessarily need all of the different tracks. For example, there's no MIDI information in this track here except for perhaps a title, so what we'll do is we'll just mute this track. We'll also mute the one that came preloaded into Logic Pro. You can also shrink these, or you could even delete them if you're not going to use them. The two here, of course, have the audio content that we will need. Now, right now, these should play back with the classic D6 keyboard sound. And this sounds very similar to a harpsichord that you might have found in the 18th century. But if you'll be performing this aria along with the piano, this may not be the best thing to practice along with. So you can easily change the sound samples. If you look over on the left-hand side, you should see the instrument selected here. If not, click on the little box in the top left corner that will open up this window. And you can come in and select piano, and there's several different options: Bösendorfer grand piano, Steinway grand piano, Yamaha grand piano. These might be among the three you would be interested in using. You can also try them out. For example, and if you want something different, you can go in and try out the Steinway. Notice the Steinway has a much brighter sound to it. We can also try the Yamaha, for example. The Yamaha has a much darker sound to it. So I'm going to go with the Steinway grand piano, and I'll go ahead and select this for the other track as well. And we'll go ahead and unmute that one so we can listen to both of these tracks together. Now, if this tempo is a little bit faster than you're used to for this aria, you can come up here where it says BPM, that stands for beats per minute, and you can just double click that. 108 might be a more comfortable tempo for you, and it'll automatically make that adjustment. You also might find if the high notes are difficult for you in your aria, perhaps your teacher has suggested taking it down to a more comfortable key. This is also something you can do very quickly here in Logic Pro. What you'll want to do is come into the track, and you can either right-click or control-click, move down to MIDI, and MIDI transform, and then transposition. We'll take this down just a couple half steps here, select and operate. And then we'll want to make sure that we do this for the other track as well. So hit Control or right-click and move down to MIDI, MIDI transform, transposition, and then it's already got the -2, so just select and operate, just click it once, and it will automatically take care of that for you. And now when we play back, it'll be a little bit lower. Once you've got this track to where you would like it for your accompaniment part, all you need to do is bounce it as an MP3 file. And probably the easiest way to do that is to just come and you can go up to export or bounce right here, and you can bounce your entire project or just a selection. And I'm going to go ahead and select project and select MP3. 24-bit or 16 bits usually okay. And you can put it directly to iTunes if you use that, or you can just save it as a file. I'm going to click bounce, and I'm going to title this Scarlatti accompaniment. And it'll put it in a folder for you, but if you want to put it somewhere else, you can select that. And then you can see where it has been saved. I saved it directly to the desktop just for ease. Now I can save this MP3 file to iTunes, to my iPod. I can upload it to some sort of streaming site or to YouTube, and then if I need to practice my aria along with the accompaniment part, I have it readily available.